Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I have not done this podcast in probably, my goodness, man, it's been a year, at least 5 months, something like that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done this podcast on Box Score Media, the Box Score Media YouTube channel, that is. For all the new listeners out there, which is everybody, what this podcast is about is pure sports. Okay? No political crap, no racial crap, no gender inequality crap. If you want to listen to that stuff, go to the mainstream media where they can twist all the mainstream networks where they can twist everything around. This podcast is sports scores, sports highlights, that I'm going to talk to you about, because obviously I can't show you. Statistics that define the games and the matches and the fights and everything in between. There is no political bias, political undertones, political meanings, nothing. We are strictly a sports-based podcast. I will be giving you this podcast for free on YouTube every Monday and every Friday, mainly discussing the hot sports in the world. We got football, basketball, MMA, hockey, baseball, disc golf are the top sports, and I am not afraid to dive into anything, though, that I feel like it is newsworthy, or if there's something that's interesting that happens. It is not off limits to this podcast. Like I said, though, the main reasoning for this podcast is a non-political, unbiased, sports-related show that talks about sports and does not go into... I don't talk about Twitter, what's happening in Twitter, off-the-field issues. I might dip my toe in, but I don't dive in. It's simply not something that I feel like the sports community wants. If you want to listen to sports talk, if you want to watch sports, it's because you want to get away from the BS of life, the BS of your job, the BS of politics, the coronavirus, anything else that drags down, separates us. That's not what this podcast is about. It's about bringing people together with sports knowledge and scores, educating people on maybe some sports that they didn't have an interest in, but then realized, hey, you know what, maybe I ought to check this out. Disc golf is one of those sports I think everybody needs to start paying attention to. It's growing. It's becoming more popular, and as somebody who plays it, it is extremely fun. I'm about to be 32 years old. There's no reason for me to be playing other sports, but disc golf is a sport just like regular golf it's a hobby and a pastime that you can pick up easy without getting hurt. It's not too physical. So that's one. Again, we'll talk about football, basketball. Football season's coming up. College football. I am all in on that. UFC and MMA, Bellator, 1FC all year round. We'll talk about that stuff. I'll give you an example of how this podcast will go. Let's say there's a big UFC fight, pay-per-view, like Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane coming up for the interim heavyweight championship. After the fight, I'll give my prediction of who's going to win, how they're going to win. After the fight, I'll talk about, what was the main reason that so-and-so beat so-and-so. Was it the leg kicks, the body kicks, the headshots, the octagon control, things like that? For football, we'll talk about, okay, what was the key stats? Okay, why did Ohio State beat Michigan for the 11th year in a row? I'll talk about that. Okay, was it the third down conversions? Was it the turnovers? I'm kind of give you the behind the scenes of the overall film. The film is the score. I kind of give you the stats that back it up. Something that you might not realize, and then all of a sudden you can tell your friends, talk about sports. Hey, did you know that they were 6 of 14 on third down, and the other team was 13 of 14. Why do you think that team won by 14 points? Things like that. Statistical data to back up the score. information that you might not pay attention to because you're too busy hearing about Aaron Rodgers and his beef with the Packers, or Deshaun Watson's crap that he's doing in massage parlors, or the racial stuff. It shows the talk shows on ESPN, Fox Sports, where all of a sudden they talk 3 sports throughout the year, and then they'll bring up one sport that they'll never talk about besides racial stuff, which is garbage. It's like if you're never going to bring up the actual meaning and the structure of the sport. You're talking about an undertone which might not relate to everybody. The sports, the scores, the stats, they relate to everybody. Okay, unbiased, unpolitical, strictly talking sports, giving you the facts, giving you what you want to hear. This isn't a long podcast. It's not going to be an hour and a half of mumbo jumbo. It is going to be 15 minutes, half hour of simply what'd you miss, what you need to look forward to, things like that. I'm going to record and upload this every Monday. I have a 40 hours a week job, and then I come home, do some stuff, record this podcast late at night. I will upload it, and then so Tuesday morning and Saturday mornings, you can turn on this podcast, find out what you missed, find out what you're looking forward to over the weekend. Friday show, I will recap what happened throughout the week and then predict what's going to happen throughout the weekend. Monday's show, it's going to be the opposite. Recap the weekend and then give my predictions of what's going to happen and what you should tune into throughout the week. Okay? This podcast is strictly sports. Okay? Box Score Media podcast. Check it out on the Box Score Media YouTube channel. I will be your host, Jay Keaton. Every Monday and Friday, uploaded. Help grow a small business. Help me out. You get on YouTube, you see that guy's filling his swimming pool full of beads or something like that, and it's all of a sudden like 2.5 million views, and it's like, what? Why? All I'm asking is for, hey, give me 10,000 people one episode. You know what? Give me 10 people an episode. Whatever. This is for fun. This is for practice. Where it will lead, I do not know. But I know I will record a show. All right? Thanks for tuning in to the inaugural podcast of 2021. I will try to upload this and record every Monday and Friday. So tune in, tell your friends, subscribe, and follow along and help grow a small business, okay? Thanks for tuning in, players, and I will catch you on Friday.